What's up, EA? Dave and Austin here.
What's up?
For our behind the scenes for October 2017. And this one we wanted to do something a little different, a little bit more relaxed, and I think even a little bit more behind the scenes. Normally we kind of go over tactical, what's going on in the funnels or whatever. We were kind of thinking about what to do in this one. We realized it's been a year since the beginning of the Entrepreneur Alliance. It was, I think, October 8th, 2016. I texted Austin here. I was laying in bed. It was like 1 a.m. And I was thinking about the Entrepreneur Alliance. It had been on my mind for a long time. And I was like, I need help bringing this thing to life. And I knew about Austin. He'd been this guy crushing it in our courses. And I was like, I need to get Austin Distel in on this. He's going to be the guy that can help us take the thing to the next level. So I texted you.
Yeah, it was late.
It was late. I think it was 1 a.m., which is late. Which is late for an old guy like me. You were probably just starting your night. But yeah, texted him, said, hey, let's hop on a call tomorrow. I've got an idea that, I want to run by you.
Yeah.
And we hopped on a call, and I think brought you up here, or kind of brought you, we were like, let's do this thing, what, a week after that, or a couple days after that?
Yep. So I spent pretty much the end of December, or beginning of December, living up in your attic. Looking for a place to live here. Yeah. And once I found a place, by Christmas, it was January 1st, I moved up.
And that's it. And the rest is history here. And so we wanted to kind of look back and say, hey, what are the high-level things that we've learned? What are the new beliefs that we have about ourselves, about business, about entrepreneurship? What are the things that maybe we've kind of let go and said, man, we thought wrong about that. I didn't understand that as an entrepreneur. And, here, we just crossed over like 130K MRR and are on the way to 200K by the end of the year. And a lot's shifted. It was a year ago, it was just three of us working together. And yesterday we just hired our 9th person.
Yeah. And
we'll have 10 by next week. We're gonna make another hire, so we'll be at double digits here. So it's just amazing what's happened in a year, and it's happened through a few different shifts in our thinking and strategy. And we want to share it all with you here in this 1 year recap of EA. So
yeah,
with that, we'll kick it off.
I'm excited for this. I look back on the year and I just remember hustling at Starbucks and trying to get client work in between my consultation meetings, and really just being in this scarcity mindset of, do I have money even to buy business cards? I was always trying to go to like free events. I was always looking for trainings online, free, just trying to piece together information. And I definitely was very frugal on my money, and now I feel like I'm really frugal on my time. And I know that you are that way too.
Yeah, when you first moved up here, Austin would just hop on an hour-long call with anybody that breathed. And that's part of who he is. He's a great guy, wants to add value. There's kind of a point in time where we're like, man, you're selling a lot of people short by having all your time taken up by a few people. And I remember you were frustrated because you were like, I'm helping them out. I'm just kind of doing it all. Like, they're not doing it. Like, I don't know why I can't get them to like do it and actually apply everything.
Yeah. And
at the same time, there's all these hungry people out there that are willing to watch the trainings, to do the work, to put the action, take the action to do it. And it was like, I think that's a lesson for you to be like, you got to be choosy with your time.
Yeah. I used to have the limiting belief that I can't dive deep if I don't give my personal attention to everybody's business. And now I feel like it's the only way to filter. It's the only way to find the people who are actually motivated. Because I used to go and have a lunch with somebody. They take easily an hour of my time, and then they never take action. And so I feel like here in the Entrepreneur Alliance, we can see that we can still dive deep and get that personal connection, learn about people's business by giving videos that's now evergreen. It's like the conversations I had were great advice, one person at a time. And it could often be applied to multiple people's businesses, but it was because of my method of sharing that information. Being a one-on-one conversation was ineffective. So now we're able to create trainings, and I used to be so scared of getting in front of a camera. And I just looked at all my files in my Final Cut, and I've recorded over 120 hours worth of video in the last 365 days. And so I think that looking at how do we increase our reach and how do we, do something once and have it duplicatable over time. to many people at a mass amount of time. And I think that's the beauty of courses, and it's the beauty of video and content strategy. But it wasn't around this time that you decided to get out of information?
Yeah, so a big shift. And one thing I've learned, this is one of the beliefs I think I have and I'm understanding now more a year later, is you have to build a business that you love that fits your personality. And this is big because, a year ago and over the last couple of years, I just kind of build businesses however Ryan Levesque said to build them, or how I'd see other people, and I'd feel really anxious because I'd see, guys like Scott Oldford, who some of you guys might know, awesome guy, good entrepreneur, just a good guy, and he'd be posting every few hours on Facebook. And every time I chatted him on Facebook, he'd respond in like 30 seconds. And I just feel so self-conscious because I wasn't doing this. And I would try to do it. I'd get all revved up and I'd write out a post. And then, the next day I wouldn't do it and I'd kind of feel guilty. And I was just kind of trying to build businesses that I saw other people trying to build in ways that they were building it. And then something just kind of broke in me where I just kind of got, a little bit worn out. But something else happened where I started bringing team members onto the team that had different personalities and different giftings than me. And what I've realized for me, I'm a big strategist. I love strategy. I was thinking about this the other day, I'm a better board game player than almost anybody that I know. I love board games. I'm the guy that will play a 7-hour game of Monopoly, and you might beat me, but I will never end early. Everybody else is always an hour in, I'm out of there. I'm trying to play the entire night and just totally beat you by 1,000 cuts. And that's the same way in business. So it's I love the strategy of it. But what's hard for me is to be fully engaged, fully chatting all the time, talking to people, creating content all the time. I like it, but I wouldn't say it's my unique gift. My unique gift is really to kind of sit back, think about the pieces, think about the resources. Where do we allocate them? What order do we put them in? When do we go attack here? When do we go attack there? When do we pull back? I love that. And that's what I'm really good at. I need to create margin in my life to be the strategist. Whereas Austin is very different than that. And I think I've seen that over, the last year. And I think you're great at strategy, but I think you've got this different gear that I don't have. And I'll look over and he's got 5 Facebook messenger boxes open. He's just kind of chatting all of them, taking care of everybody. He's filming videos. He's writing out plans and all that. It's just this kind of this different gear of engagement with people. And I've started to realize that, what's better than me operating out of my wheelhouse and operating out of my strength is getting people on my team that can do that. So that's what a lot of you guys need to do here this next year is you guys need to stop kind of doing the parts of business that you hate. Just stop it. If you hate prospecting a certain way, then stop it. If you hate doing a certain type of client work, then just stop it. And I think when you stop it, you're going to create margin. You're going to create space that's going to be filled with something that you can fill with something that you love. And so it's just business is too hard, I think, to do something that you really hate over and over and over. You just will never make it. You'll never put enough effort into it because it always sucks. But if you stop doing the work that you hate, if you stop doing the things that you're not good at, you double, triple down on the things that you are great at, and I guarantee you have something that you're great at that other people think is hard that you just do effortlessly. Do that, and you will start to make leaps and bounds. And our business has done that exactly same thing over this last year. So I've kind of stepped back more into the strategist, kind of moving the pieces, figuring out where we're going. And I've brought in guys who are way better at stuff than I am, like Austin here. Then we've been able to really grow quickly and do that. So that's been a big thing that I've learned over the last year.
I think that's one thing I really appreciate you is I have, a lot of these ideas and I always look to you to figure out, which of my ideas are the hated 20.
He has a lot of ideas.
Which is so true. I'll have a whole whiteboard and I say, Dave, I think a lot of these will work. Which one do you think will move the needle most? And you always seem to figure out which one's the right one to go for. Do you think that's instinctual or how do you really process out of all the ideas which one to come up with?
I just love it. I love thinking strategy. Again, I love playing strategy games. I love thinking through how to operate with limited resources. I don't know. It's just, I think other people work harder, although we work really damn hard. But I just think, I believe the 80-20 principle. It's one of our core values. I think if you take everybody in the world, you'll find that 20% of the people using the same amount of time are getting 80% of everything in the world done. I think if you look at your week, 20% 20% of the time in your week, just Monday, gets almost everything done in the week. And so I just think that things are not evenly distributed. And two ideas, one will probably crush it, move your business, the other one probably won't. I think it's worth stopping and spending a ton of time really, really thinking about that and trying to figure out which one of those two is. So I don't know. I just think it's how the world works. And I love
What's an
thinking about it.
example of that in the last, I don't know, month and a half, 2 months that you've seen in 80-20 where you're like, you know what, let's punt that and let's go double down on this, because I think this is where we're going to get the most results for our time.
So we create a lot of Facebook ads, and we've got Austin Troyer running all of our ads. Almost all of our money has come from 3 ads, probably.
Yeah.
We've ran the same ad for Entrepreneur Alliance since February. We've ran another one that came out like February 15th, the video one. Our proof ad is the very same ad that we created in February or March to build proof. I think it was March. We've created a lot of other ads, but like these things win. I think partly that's because they build up social proof, but it's just like it's a good ad. So I think you look at our Facebook account, almost all of our money comes from 3 ads. And all the rest of them get some opt-ins and some leads here and there and whatnot, but like that's a huge principle for 80-20 principle, or a huge example of 80-20 principle. That's one off the top of my head.
Cool. One thing that I think that we've really focused on this year is building a structure for a $100 million company. That's been the game plan. If you guys want to go back and watch, the 4-stage plan to a $100 million company that Dave recorded.
It's on the blog.
Yeah, it's on the blog.
blog.useproof.com. Check it out.
Yeah, so go check that out. I think that this is a great example of plan your work and work your plan. You can look at this strategy that you recorded, I don't know, maybe over a year and a half ago.
Yeah.
And we are well past stage 1, into stage 2, growing that.
It's funny how our business lines up with what the plan was.
Yeah.
It's really interesting. It was before we knew about proof or anything.
Yeah.
It was just kind of like, we're going to get into software. And then like, now that's taken off. It is interesting. I was watching that the other day thinking, that's cool.
Yeah, it is really cool. So what is some of the systems that you believe our members should definitely put in place immediately that you're like, man, I really wish I had this a year ago when we started EA?
Well, I think one, you've got to follow people that you want to end up being like. And that's kind of obvious, but like a lot of you guys spend your time, and I've done this too, following all these like gurus online that like aren't even living a life or running a business that you want to run. And I realized I was kind of doing all that. I'm following all the guys that just have these little tactics and hacks, and they're like in their bedroom. And again, that's fine if that's what you want, but if that's not what you want, then stop doing it. Stop following any of those guys. If you look at our life and you don't want to, build a team of, 10 plus people, and you don't want to grow a company where you treat customers with honesty, and you don't want to have a group of friends that are just like, your best friends, but also your teammates and employees. Like, if you don't want that and you just want to be like a one-man show in your bedroom, then like stop following me. Like, stop watching these videos. There's plenty of other people that have that kind of model in mind, but like we're building a certain type of business. And if you want that, then stick around, watch everything that we do, because we do it for a reason. So I think I stopped thinking about all these other guys that were out there building these little businesses in their bedrooms. I was like, that's not what we want. That's not where we're going. We've got a bigger vision. I started reading more about CEOs. I started reading Shoe Dog, a book about that started Nike. I started reading Elon Musk biographies. I started reading Jeff Bezos, biographies. I started reading all these biographies about people that built these big companies and thinking like, what are they doing that we're not? One thing I realized is that they're not obsessing over their marketing funnels. They're not one funnel away. Jeff Bezos is not one funnel away from building Amazon. Elon Musk is not one funnel away. Nobody even talks about that. Or you watch The Profit on TV. Incredible show. Have you ever watched it yet?
I have. I need to,
still
man.
Watch it. You're gonna binge on it like one day. He goes in there and fixes all these businesses. He almost never talks about like getting a marketing funnel up. And don't get me wrong, I love marketing funnels as much or more than all of you guys. It's what we talk about all the time here. But what I realize is like these people put systems into place to build companies. That's what Marcus Lemonis does. And so I was like, why are we trying to be one funnel away here? Why don't we just build a business that actually can grow, whether the funnel always works or doesn't work? And so last December we started following the book Scaling Up, which I recommend everybody get and read about 10 times the next year. I probably read something out of that book once a week. I kind of have it just sitting on my desk. I pull out. But yeah, set quarterly goals. We've been doing that. Like our goal for this quarter is to get to 200K MRR here by the end of the year. We're about, like I said, 130 now. So we've kind of got this full goal that we all kind of are aligned with, that we know what's going on, we know where we're headed. So I think set a quarterly goal for you, and if you've got a team, or even if you've got contractors, let them know what the goal is. Say, hey, here's where we're headed, here's where we're aligned towards. I also think understanding your finances is something a lot of you guys need to start doing, even if it's just one person. You need to just know your way around QuickBooks. I like QuickBooks. That's the software that we use. I think that's an easy thing to just like know what's going on, in your finances, where your money goes. A lot of you guys spend so much damn money on software and trainings and all this stuff, and I think that's good. Remember, I'm trying to sell you software and training, so maybe you end up cutting this, but I think it's just good to know like where that stuff's going and have control over that as you begin to grow your business. So those are two things that I think we've started to do. And then we've said this on other trainings before, but like a daily huddle, just every day for 10 minutes, our whole team gets together for a quick little 10-minute. What are you doing today? What's your daily metric? How are you doing on that? And then number 3 is, where are you stuck? What do you need help with? And those are kind of 3 questions we all ask every single day. But those are some systems that we've started to do. What have you noticed systems-wise that have been super helpful?
I think a lot of the things that we take for granted as second nature, that maybe is just aligned with our skill set or whatever. For me, for example, like creating a masterclass. I have a rhythm and a pattern that I do every day whenever I make and edit and record and set up the studio and all of that. But when I really began to systemize it all, put a step-by-step checklist in place, something that I do repeatedly, I need to figure out how can I then hire somebody to replace me in my position. So eventually we can scale and I can do bigger things than that. And so looking at playbooks, I believe, is one of the biggest growth strategies that we've had in our business, allowing our company to become much bigger, is by systemizing the actions that each one of our players in our company does on a daily basis. So whether that's creating canned responses for commonly asked questions in the customer support, or whether it's me creating editing templates and marketing email templates and things like that, and ad templates, or a structure that Troyer has made for every time that he launches an ad, he needs to make sure he goes through these things so things don't fall through the cracks. And it's by creating these systems once that you make sure nothing stalls out, you do things quicker. I noticed that back in the day, even though I subconsciously knew what I was doing to launch a masterclass, it would take me 5 hours or whatever to go from conception all the way to produced and inside the members portal. It took me like 5 to 10 hours, and now it takes, 50 minutes.
That's amazing.
And it's all because now I'm not trying to remember and figure out what to do. And this might, let's say you're running an agency, how do you go through onboarding? How do you set them up and allow them to be set up for success and make sure that you get all the things that you need at the consultation? That goes to the fulfillment side. You make sure that the money trails are all correctly billed, and the invoicing, and then how do you pay yourself out of all these things? They all need to be systemized. And look, we'll be honest, we hate systems. Me and Dave we try and wreck them.
I love the idea of them. I love the idea of them. They're hard though.
They are hard.
They're really hard.
And often I just kind of daze out when we start talking about systems.
Just shut down.
But I do understand the importance of them now, and especially when I've seen the productivity increase from implementing them. I don't know if I'd ever be able to go back from this point.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of freedom in systems. It seemed like there used to be slavery in systems, and like those confined you, but like so much freedom in that to operate. Okay, next thing that I've learned and thought about, and we've changed about how we do business, how we do our marketing, is you need to have a longer term mindset for the things that you do on a daily basis. And so it used to be I'd have an idea, I'd create something that day. Maybe it's a video, maybe it's a prospecting method, or whatever. And I wouldn't think about using it down the road. It was just kind of this one-off thing. And we were looking, the other day, you found some stuff today in our Wistia account. All these videos that we've just never really used. I've got all these things on my computer that are like documents or PDFs or articles we kind of use once, but there's no long-term measure for how we're going to use those. And so what we've been doing now is when we create anything new, I try to ask, hey, is this going to be relevant and usable in 18 months? And if it's not, we're not doing it. So even as we create this video, we're thinking, hey, how do we give steps? How do we give lessons that will be relevant 18 months from now? And are we putting this in a place in the membership, in the Entrepreneur Alliance, in the membership portal that's going to be around in 18 months? And we plan on it still being here, adding new members in the Entrepreneur Alliance, growing the Entrepreneur Alliance from here. And so I think a lot of you guys, you're doing all these things, but you're not getting leverage out of them. You're not getting any leverage. They're just one-off. You're just on this little hamster wheel here. But if you'd make something, you'd stop and you'd say, hey, I'm going to make this be an 18-month or longer asset in my business. Maybe it's a lead magnet for clients. Maybe it's a prospecting method or an email sequence, and you start thinking, hey, how am I going to use this in 18 months? Is it still going to work? Yeah. Then you'd have leverage on the asset rather than you being the asset, right? If you're the asset, you're an employee. If you have leverage on an asset and you can use it long term and it can work, way past you, then you're an owner of that asset and it'll continue to work for you. That's been a huge lesson for us.
I think it goes hand in hand with creating processes and structures and systems. When I make my playbooks, I think, would I be able to hire somebody and have them successfully do what I want them to do using this template? And I want to always get a consistent result. So if you're thinking through your consultations, you need to think about what are the exact questions you need to ask every single time. If you're, systemizing your onboarding sequence, or maybe it's, how do you go and run a conference really well? Like, I think about, how am I going to make the biggest amount of impact when I go to traffic and conversion here in a couple months? I think about, how am I going to organize all of my new numbers that I get? How am I going to give them? What's my elevator pitch? And I pretty much systemize everything I do now in my head. And if I think that I'm going to do this over and over again, then I put it onto paper. Eventually, where I can hand this over to somebody, either one as a product, because all of these things are great products.
Yeah.
If you can figure out how to systemize your agency and work like clockwork, and you know that this works every single time consistently, then yeah, your business is now a sellable business, right? Like, somebody can come in, buy your system, and sell it like a box. And that's why, you see all these guys, it's a natural progression. You build a business that works really well, like you did for a digital marketing agency. You figured out which sales lines work. You figured out which onboarding processes work, which fulfillment guys do really good work. And then you're like, crap, this works really well for us consistently. I think this is basically now a business in a box. I can now sell this. And that's your first info product. It's from creating systems that now you can build a business that's scalable without you. And that's the beauty that you guys want, right? You want to not be tied down to your time. And I believe that it's from creating processes and playbooks that 6K Success was born. You created a playbook essentially for
how to do this thing.
A digital marketing agency.
Yep.
And if, let's say we created a playbook on how to build a membership site, or if we created a playbook for software, now you can scale to the moon. So if you guys are thinking about building a business right now, ask, how can I systemize this thing? So eventually, yeah, it works for you, but it not only works for you, it can work for somebody else too.
That's it. Okay, something else that we've learned over the last year is I think our marketing has changed a lot in how we approach it and how we approach funnels and how we approach optimizing for conversions. And we've done some unique different things here. And so, Austin, why don't you share maybe how we build funnels differently than when you first came out, how you think about building funnels, what's maybe worked high level over the last year, and then even how we're taking that forward.
Yeah. I think one of the biggest mistakes a lot of new marketers make is they think with the idea, build it and they'll come. But the idea is so flawed in so many ways. You don't need to find customers for your product. What you really need to find is products for your customers. If you keep them and their intentions and their wants and everything they need up front and top of mind, then when you build things for them, they're going to sell out. Too often, though, people will just think, what they would like, and they don't even, then they say, okay, great, so where can we find these people that will want to buy our product? And that's when they look to Facebook and all that. But really what you need to do is first find the kind of people that you want to take care of and you want to interact with every day, and who do you want to be a hero to? And work backwards from there and figure out what are their biggest wants, desires, and fears, and then start to figure out in the structure of like, okay, what are the problems that they face every day and how can I build things that help them? And that's 90% of building a funnel right there. I don't have to go into like, when do you do the upsell and when do how do you do opt-ins that convert really high? That stuff is important, but you'll find that none of these tactics work very well if you didn't find product market match up front. And so a lot of it is positioning. A lot of the reason why a funnel doesn't translate from being successful for one person to unsuccessful for another isn't because any of the technology has changed. It's simply because you did not find the right product for your consumer. Maybe you built something already, you thought it'd be great, but you realize it doesn't match up at all what they want, or maybe you're just positioning it in the wrong way. What do you have to say about that?
I love that. I think you nailed it. Yeah, well, let's keep moving on. I think that's totally money. I think, we build awesome funnels because there's that connection there between what we're offering and what we have. And we're always learning all the time. We'll launch funnels and they don't work at first. Right now we're working on a funnel that's not performing how we want it to, but we know there's a process, a systemized process to increase the conversion rate that we're following here now. So I think that's huge.
Yeah.
Let's talk about competitors and how my thoughts have changed on competitors over the last year. And so, we released Proof in February. Since then, probably every 4 or 5 days, some new Proof competitor comes out. Most of them look exactly like Proof. Many of them have Proof in the name, which is beyond me.
Like copied and pasted.
But I think at first, and even now, I won't lie, at first it bothered me and I'd get freaked out. Even now when it comes out, my heart starts racing a little bit and I start thinking, what does this mean, that this new competitor came out? But I think I've got a few thoughts on that. What do you do with competition? Well, number one, I think competition is something to be celebrated. We're getting competitors because Proof is crushing it. Some guy told me recently, a couple days ago, that it's the fastest he's ever heard of a software company grow. This is a guy that's big into software. I just got from one of our advisors, and he said, bootstrap software companies don't do what you guys just did. They just don't. He's never heard of it. And so I think these competitors coming out something to celebrate. It's like, wow, this works. Like the market is validated. This works. And that's always going to happen, right? That's always going to happen. It'll always be there. And if I'm doing anything successful in life, there's always competitors. Secondly, I think the market expands to fill competitors here. And so Proof's not going to have everybody in the market, and when it's not a zero-sum market where somebody, there's not a limited number of Proof potential customers out there. The market's going to always grow as different segments are hit, as different products are built. And so, when Starbucks came out, they said it'd be the death of the local coffee shop. They'd say all the local mom and pop shops are going to be gone. Starbucks can take over. Well, actually, what they saw was the whole coffee market expand, and it's still rapidly expanding because of Starbucks. And so in many ways, Starbucks was the best thing that ever happened to a lot of these mom and pop coffee shops. And so I think the markets expand to fill, to fill the need here. And so I'm not worried about Proof market getting saturated. I'm not worried about the EA market getting saturated. I think it's an ever-growing market. We're in two markets that, entrepreneurship and making money online is only going to get bigger and bigger and bigger. And we're kind of at the front end of that wave there. And the third thing I would say is like where are you trying to go? And so we're trying to build, like we said, $100 million plus company. I want to hire 100 people in the next couple years, have an amazing office, build incredible products that increase conversion rate just by putting them on your site. The type of person that copies our code and puts Proof in their name is not going towards that, right? And so the type of person that copies Proof, tweaks the name a little bit, and then buys a $10 domain and does a $97 lifetime launch is not building the kind of product that we're looking to build. They're trying to make some money, trying to build some cash, and then they might get distracted and move on here. And so when I look at that, I think that's it does get a hit on us. It's like we do lose some customers from that, but I think we can win them all back by continuing on with our long-term vision, by building a great product, by converting, increasing conversion rate on our client sites. No matter what, we will win them back by winning that game. And so I just need to keep my eyes on the pain that we're trying to solve. We increase conversion rate on your site automatically. If we're always increasing conversion rate, and in 50 years we're still increasing conversion rate, we will be around, because who wouldn't want that? Every customer would want that. And the method will change, the competitors will change, the market will change, but everybody would want that, and everybody would pay for that. And so that's what we're focusing on, not on the competitor that is doing this or that.
I believe that good marketers adjust the marketing. I should say good entrepreneurs adjust their marketing, and great entrepreneurs adjust their product. I look at a lot of these competitors that are coming in right now, and they're just trying to copy and paste and make a good buck on JV Zoo, and find a way to make enough money so they don't have to struggle from month to month. But when I look at what we're building, we're doing product updates almost every week. We do demo Fridays here in the office where JP shows us some of the craziest cool things I've ever seen in software I didn't even know you could do. Every day we hear amazing feedback from Chris Hull being extremely good at customer success, and people saying that they're like friends with our customer success team, which is awesome, really cool. And I just look at I have such faith in our team, and I have such faith in our ability to create a long-term business that these competitors are going to be here today and gone tomorrow. It's annoying, but it's like a fruit fly. All you got to do is move on and build a better product, which is good. Here's the great thing about capitalism, right? It pushes us to be innovative, and it pushes us to differentiate ourselves from everybody else. It's going to happen either way, but I think this kind of puts a little fire under us to do it quicker and to really overserve on everything that we do. So I'm excited about competition. I think it's a good thing.
Fruit fly. I think you had a fruit fly problem at your house, didn't you?
Oh, it has been a massacre. They are gone.
This guy's had an infestation of fruit flies and just got traps yesterday. But you got them all?
Oh, they're still coming. But you know what? I'm getting the queens first. I'm going to destroy them.
Cut them off at the head.
Yeah.
Oh, man. That's good. Well, you got any other big insights, or is that it?
I'm just really excited where we're taking our company and our vision and bringing together software with training, and every day we're working towards this getting closer.
Our vision is to help entrepreneurs grow using honest marketing strategies, and we provide that in two forms. Proof develops the software tools for that, so they're one and the same. They're one vision, one company, providing you with multiple products to help you increase conversion rate and grow your business using honest marketing strategies that are just totally killer. And so we've learned a ton. I'd be curious to hear from you guys. Go post in the Facebook group your learnings from the last year, how you've changed, what's something that you believe now that you didn't believe back then, or what's something you believed then that you don't believe anymore. And do a quick eval. I'd love to hear from you guys about that. That's what we've learned here. And so with that, we love you guys. We're excited to keep building the EA tribe here as we grow, and we'll keep this thing around for a long time.
Awesome. Thanks for watching, guys. See you on the inside.
Peace.
Now, here are some interesting facts about the mastermind, which give you an idea of how important it is and how necessary that you embrace this principle and make use of it in attaining success in your chosen occupation. First of all, it is the principle through which you may borrow and use the education, the experience, the influence, and perhaps the capital of other people in carrying out your own plans in life. It is the principle through which you can accomplish in 1 year more than you could accomplish without it in a lifetime if you depended entirely upon your own efforts for success.